just telling you, it's real. God is real, man.
Well, thank you so much, Steve Harvey. That is so good to know, and it's so very nice to have a trusted face tell us the truth about the reals, instead of being one of those people who uses their platform to push a worldview onto an impressionable and receptive audience, who didn't come to him for his ignorant opinions on reality, but they're gonna get them anyway. Hooray!
Don't let nobody fool you. Listen to me, young people.
Okay, I'll stop pretending that this isn't really shit. I mean, come the fuck on, Steve. Don't let nobody fool you. Listen to me. That is despotic nonsense right there. No, those other people, they're just trying to trick you. But I would never do that. I'm the good guy who, again, is bringing this up in the middle of a show that almost certainly isn't what anybody came here for. The man's not a preacher, or at least he's not supposed to be. He's a TV host. And this shit is just kind of gross.
Don't let nobody fool you. Come by your house, knock on your door, talking about it ain't no God.
Who the fuck does that shit? Do you think that there are some kind of atheist missionaries? Good day, sir. Do you have a minute to not talk about Jesus Christ? No, dumbass. That's not how that works. It's your lot, the God Squad, who like to come over while I'm trying to relax and ask me where I think God is. And I always tell them in my freezer. He's dead, I killed him, and I have been making delicious God burgers out of his flesh. None of that transubstantiation shit. And the wine is just wine. And by wine, I mean whiskey, obviously.
You think cause somebody say it ain't no God, you think that'd make it true?
This is just so brilliant. The man of 1,000 hypocrisies, ladies and gentlemen. You think because someone says there is a God, does that make the statement true? I mean, I would bet you would say yes, regardless, and possibly try to justify it with, well, lots of people say God is real, so it must be true. But more and more people are coming to the conclusion that he isn't. If the majority of the world ended up coming to that point of view, would you think that suddenly the facts had changed? God is real or he isn't. Doesn't matter if fucking everyone thought he was or wasn't. The factual basis of those claims does not change either way.
God is real, man.
Finally, someone's figured it out. The identity of real man. You know, that superhero with the power to exist. Quick, someone pull off his mask. Dude, this is just a skeleton. I don't see God anywhere. Why would you lie to me again?
Where you think all this stuff come from?
Well, okay, you are standing in a man-made set with man-made furniture, in a man-made suit, on man-made television, in a man-made building, and technically humans come from humans, so they're man-made too. So I guess it comes from the exact same place God comes from. Thanks for letting us know.
How you think this world got formed?
We don't need to think how the world was formed. We actually know. We did some science at it and showed that it formed a few billion years ago from stardust and the like, turned into a big ball of hot stuff that eventually cooled down, got itself some water and an atmosphere, and then everything else followed from that. Till, ta-da, there's an Earth. Why? How exactly do you think it got here? Hopefully not something really, really stupid, yeah?
How you really think that's cloud formation?
Oh, right. He's an idiot. We know exactly how there's cloud formation. Do you actually think that God does the fucking clouds? What the hell is wrong with you? Clouds form when water evaporates and then gathers in the sky. We have known this for fucking ages. I mean, I know you're an old dude now, but you were definitely taught this, like, in fucking preschool, probably. The fact that you either didn't understand or are too ancient to remember doesn't preclude you from fucking checking before going on national television and making a goddamn fool of yourself. This is just fucking embarrassing.
Where you think the waterfall come from? Who made all them animals out there?
Oh my god, this is so hard to watch. This grown man just saying this completely ludicrous shit as if no one knows how waterfalls form and how evolution by natural selection works. Is he a creationist or is he just that fucking stupid. I seriously don't know. Right, waterfalls form when a river meets a cliff edge. And rivers form when those cloud things that you obviously don't understand piss out some water at an elevation. Some of it soaks into the ground, some of it rolls downhill, and then lots of these streams of piss water come together to make a big boy, and there you go. And evolution happens when you read a goddamn science textbook instead of making yourself look silly in front of a live studio audience, for fuck's sake.
Who you think make that sun come up every day in the east and set in the west?
Ra, or Helios, or Mithras, or Amaterasu, or any number of other sun gods. I mean, that's the other thing about this kind of idiotic confidence. Okay, you believe in a god, that's cool, but there's more than one, you know. Make sure you pick the right one so you don't piss off any of the others if they turn out to be the actual real guy. That, or maybe just realize that if you think that those lot are all made up, it's hardly a stretch to think that yours is too, especially if you apparently only believe in him because you don't know how fucking anything works. Because, of course, again, we know how the sun works.
And it ain't nothing you can do about it.
I think you will find there's plenty I can do about where the sun rises and sets. All I have to do is give the earth a little push and, oh, whoops, shit, never mind. It was like that when I got here, officer, I swear.
Who do you think make the wind blow?
Well, I'm starting to think that it comes from you. That explains why it's so unseasonably warm today. A lot of hot air blustering out of this man. I can't imagine being one of his friends who actually understands anything about basic science. Hearing this, can you imagine just how much cringing would have happened? I mean, it explains why he hasn't been corrected by any of them. People can't really live with a spine this contorted.
You can't do nothing with the wind.
We can do lots of things with the wind. We can use it to generate power. We can use it to sail ships. We can use it to fly kites that say Steve Harvey is a fucking moron. All sorts of very important things. And if you mean we can't stop it, well, yes we can. Watch this. Wow, it's really windy. Oh wait, no it's not anymore. Dun dun dun. And finally, if you mean we can't make wind, well, I rest my case.
You can't stop time. Who does that?
You can't stop time. Who does that? Who says that? I mean, dude, there's lots of things that we can have an amount of control over given enough time and the right level of technology. I mean, in the way back time before earth movers and sky cranes, people would have assumed that the best they could do was make a house out of local materials and at best build the still very impressive pyramid. But compare this thing to this goddamn monstrosities. That's like earth-changing shit. And you didn't mention rivers, but I mean, I did. And had you would have maybe realized that we control them with dams all the time. So what makes you think that one day maybe we couldn't control time? I mean, I don't think we will, but if we do, then we could come back and stop you making this speech, and the world would be at least 10% better.
There is a higher power.
Fucking prove it. I mean, if I can't just go door to door, as all atheists do all the time apparently, and tell people that God doesn't real, then you must have some pretty banging evidence for his existence that doesn't just boil down to science doesn't know everything, which actually means I don't know any science whatsoever, and assume that means that science is wrong because of how smart I am.
There is a God. Listen to me.
Oh, listen to me, there is a God, trust me bro. I wouldn't lie to you, I'm Steve Harvey, goddammit. I hosted Family Feud. Family Feud! I mean, basically, on the hierarchy of important beings, it goes the host of Family Feud, God, and then the rest of you. So if you don't do what I say, you'll never get to win that show.
You better get in touch with him.
Alright then, fine. Just give me his phone number and I'll get right on that. I'm joking, of course. I don't need his phone number. I already have it. It's just whenever I call him, I'm always blocked automatically. Even from like public phones or other people's phones. It's like the guy knows everything I'm gonna do and preemptively blocks me or some shit.
The sooner the better. I ain't threatening you, I'm just telling you real. I'm tired, so I'm talking loud right now.
It's not a threat. What an odd thing to say. I mean, when I'm not threatening people, I tend to find that it's pretty fucking obvious that's not what I'm doing. If I felt the need to tell people, it'd be because I actually want them to know that they're being threatened in case they hadn't realized yet. Also, tiredness makes you louder. So you're like all day quiet and composed, and then you get into bed and it's like, good night! As loud as a goddamn foghorn.
But I'm telling you, if you're trying to make it in this world,
then you've got to clap between every other word. Otherwise, how could anyone possibly take you seriously? Did I do it right? I don't know, all these newfangled hip kid things are just so confusing to me. Clearly, Steve is just far too with it for me.
without God in your life, you're making it way harder than it's got to be.
How? It's not like he does anything. You know that, right? When you pray or hope to God for things, if those things happen, they would have happened anyway. And if they don't happen, it's not a message from God, it's just how reality works. If anything, assuming that some guy is doing shit in the background with machinations to my life sounds far more obstructive than anything else. Suddenly, I have to second guess everything. And something that I thought was going well, if I screw it up even once, now I gotta start worrying that God doesn't like me doing that, instead of just being reasonable about it. That, you know, shit happens. The main thing you need to be is persistent in the things that you really want to do. And don't assume an invisible wanker is gonna have your back, because he doesn't, but that's only because he isn't real.
I'm telling you, man, I did it. I did it without him.
I'm assuming you're attempting to be sarcastic there, but you literally did. God had absolutely no impact on your life outside of you feeling like he did. And for proof, upteen gajillion other people want to do what you do and are just as talented and charming and all that God-given shit, maybe even more. But most of them, in fact the vast majority of them, will get nothing out of it. Why would God do that? Set them up to fail like that. It seems so unnecessarily cruel, until you realise that there was no he, and some people succeed and some don't, no matter how much they pray for it or give themselves to God and give him the credit for their own achievements. And the thing is, plenty of people who don't believe in God or believe in the wrong God or whatever other thing can be wildly successful in the things they do. It's almost like it has absolutely no impact on anything.
It does not work.
Exactly. I'm glad I'm finally starting to get through to you, somehow. I mean, I knew I was a mighty being of great ability and handsomeness, but apparently I can communicate with people back in time. Nice. Wait, I've got an idea. I'm going to get someone to call themselves a donut in German.
I flunked out of school. I had a severe stuttering problem. I couldn't talk outside my house. I'm on my third marriage. I lost everything I ever owned twice. I've been homeless and lived in a car for 3 years.
Wow, that's a lot. Looks like God really doesn't want you to succeed. It seems that you did well despite how desperately God wanted to make you fail. Man, good job. Although 3 marriages, at that point, one should really ask themselves if maybe they might just be the problem. I mean, what do they say? If you meet an asshole, you met an asshole. If you meet assholes all day, you get divorced 3 fucking times.
You can't tell me nothing.
I could tell you so much. I mean, in this fairly short clip alone, you have demonstrated that you don't know how nature works, you don't know anything about cause and effect, and you really need to stop marrying people after you've known them for 75 seconds. Maybe get to know someone for a good 20 or 30 years before you decide to tie the knot. At least then, you'll know that you've run out of things to talk about, and the divorce has some validity on your end.
About what he can't do for you. Nothing.
He can't do nothing for you? Couldn't agree more. There is no amount of nothing that he can't do. The amount of nothing God does is so overwhelmingly high, it's like he is the champion of doing absolutely fuck all. There is so much nothing that he does, I'm starting to think he might not even exist. So prevalent is the no things that he does. I'm impressed, really.
Let me tell you something, man. I've been bottomed out. I'm talking about flat bottomed out.
Okay, so have I. So have a lot of people. And you know what? If you needed to pretend that God was out there looking out for you, that's fine, I guess. But if you think, well, he did all this shit to me, so I could find him, well, that'd be kind of fucked. I mean, bad shit happening is one of those things that to me demonstrates that we live in an uncaring universe. It's exactly what I would expect from such a place. But if I found out that, no, actually, Mr. Runs It All is fucking with me so that someday I will beg for his help, well, that makes him sound like a giant fucking asshole. And frankly, if he just asked me and like showed up and did the smallest amount to demonstrate that, holy shit, this is an all good magic man, that would push me way further in his direction than all this bad shit happens, better worship me before I make it worse nonsense.
Nothing. I was talking today with my oldest son. He said, man, Dad, every time I hear about something you went through, I just go, how did you make it?
Wow, so you constantly trauma dump on your son? Nice. Some top quality parenting right there. Yeesh.
I just kept his faith, man. I just kept believing that God didn't bring me this far to leave me.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you believed in him all along. So he wasn't even, as shitty as it would be, testing you or something. He just did terrible things to you, you know, things that he was in control of by your own shit understanding of the world. What, for the fucking lols? Again, it really sounds like God does not like you. Damn.
I just kept hearing my mama as a Sunday school teacher saying little scriptures to me. It didn't dawn on me till I got older.
Yeah, that brainwashing, man, it works so good that when you do it to children, it stays with them for life a lot of the time. And that's why you are trying to do it to young people now. But you know the thing about things that are real? You don't need to brainwash people to get them to understand that it's true. And if you do, small hint, it's probably fucking bollocks, Steve.
I'm telling you, man, I didn't get a car in my name till I was 38 years old. I was 38 before I purchased my first car. 38. Come on.
Ultimately, all you've told us is that you didn't get your shit together until you were about halfway through your life. Therefore, God. Well, real convincing, man. Fuck me.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope. Wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the